Hey gang, Dre here. Last week on Twitch, me, Kieran and Hannah sat down and ranked the entire 2023 Formula 1 calendar on a tier list system, something that's become increasingly popular over the internet. Our ranking system went from S tier, or SUGOI, it means incredible in English, a grade that's usually the highest ranked in Japan, and if I'm being honest, it just sounds cooler than A. However, we continued with A down to D, reserving S for our must-have tracks, and D for the tracks we'd be pushing Formula 1 to put in the bin. Couple of disclaimers before we begin. When we debated these tracks on Twitch, we took an average of our own grades, and a grade from our Twitch chat too, and of course, these are just our opinions, so be nice in the comments. Bahrain. A. Bahrain has become a more established opening round in recent years due to rotating with Australia, and that combination of new season hype, beautiful day-to-night transitions, and some outstanding recent races made us put it in A tier. Jeddah. B. Jeddah definitely split the room, a difficult one to place with a genuine Race of the Year candidate in 2022, but it's hard to ignore the politics of the weekend itself, racing in Saudi Arabia. Australia. B. A track that's maybe lost a little bit of its magic after being demoted from guaranteed opener status, but it's still a likeable venue and the new adjustments may make it better in the long run. Baku. A. Complete chaos. Clunky? Yes, but chaos wins all as far as we're concerned, and the weekend in Azerbaijan is always one to look forward to. Miami. C. I personally thought its debut weekend was fairly decent, the others thought Miami was just lacking substance. Changes to the circuit are being made for 2023 though, so let's hope things improve. Imola. B. Imola I suspect is still hanging on some of those nostalgic V10 era vibes of yesteryear, but last year's race showed that some rain can still keep it interesting. Monaco. D. Probably the most controversial take of the list, but we're not Monaco fans here. Yes, we love the history and the challenge, but with strong odds the Sunday becomes a procession, it's just not a race that we look forward to. Catalunya. C. Races have generally improved a little bit in Spain over the last couple of years, but it's still not a race that we're particularly fond of. Canada. A. A high-speed track that produces a lot of drama, and with the potential for weather to play a part at any time. We love Canada. Austria. B. With some beautiful backdrops, the Red Bull Ring has produced some fantastic moments, and is just a good spectacle with all things taken into account. We very nearly put this at A. Great Britain. S. I know, we're risking some British bias accusations here, but we just love Silverstone. Fantastic track design with speed the emphasis, the ability to race hard and close, and some recent season-defining moments. It's S for Silverstone. Hungary. A. Hungary used to be a dreadful race before the invention of DRS. Since then, unpredictable weather and allowing just enough passing to be interesting has turned Hungary into a genuinely great round. Belgium. S. Spa is undoubtedly an incredible racetrack, with Raidillon being one of the most amazing sections of any circuit in the world. Again, the weather can play a big role, sometimes for the worse, but for most, it's the must-keep track on the calendar. The Netherlands. C. The banking at Zandvoort does provide a very different spectacle than you'll find at any other track, but the rest of the circuit is narrow and fairly uninspiring. Nice amount of orange, mind you. Monza. A. The oldest purpose-built track in mainland Europe, Monza is an absolute staple of the Formula 1 calendar. It can occasionally be a little dull, but it's fast, and we like fast. Singapore. B. There's no doubt that Singapore is a fantastic spectacle, being the staple night race with its gorgeous surroundings, but we think that maybe our opinions are affected by those surroundings more than they are by the actual race in itself. Suzuka. S. As close to perfection as you can probably get. You only have to hear just how fondly the drivers talk about Suzuka to know that it's something special, and we're just incredibly glad to have it back on the calendar. What a circuit! Qatar. C. We've only had one experience of Losail for a Formula 1 race so far, so the jury is still out on this one. The last race there in 2021 was fine, but we'd have to see something special in 2023 for it to jump up the rankings. COTA. A. The Circuit of the Americas is the staple American round. a track that allows great racing with an all-American atmosphere. One of the sneaky contenders for 2022 Race of the Year too. Mexico, C. There's no doubt in how much colour and passion is present in Mexico, but the track itself with clunky technical sections and the high altitude doesn't necessarily result in great races. Brazil, S. There's no argument for anything other than S tier for Interlagos. The entire race weekend in Brazil tends to be an absolutely incredible one, and it's a track that even gets us excited for a sprint race, so it must be magic. Las Vegas, D. Yes, we know we haven't seen a race here yet, but we're just not big fans of what the Grand Prix in Vegas represents. We were split on how good the track layout looks, but hopefully it ends up being a much more enjoyable race than we're expecting it to be. Abu Dhabi, D. The only thing in Yas Marina's favour is that it's the last race of the season. That can add a lot more excitement to a race here than perhaps the track deserves, and we'd be much happier finishing the season somewhere else. So that's our rankings on the 2023 Formula 1 calendar. If you want to hear our thoughts in a bit more detail, check out the WTF1 podcast for our extended thoughts. How would your tier list look? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe.